All right, so the problem we had was someone or someone's were connecting to my mail server and sending out a whole bunch of spam, which is bad in and of itself. But the negative side effect of that was Comcast was seeing more than 1,000 messages from me in one day, so they blocked me for a day, and that's kind of a bummer. So anyway, what was happening is if we go into server configuration, hub transport, and we see eventually da, 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 our receive connectors. Now, my first inclination was that it was the send connector they were exploiting because they were sending mail. But apparently what they were doing was they were seeing that they could connect on port 587 to my receive connector and I guess relay through that to out through my send connector. So what I had to do was I went out to the internet and found Duo Circle's IP addresses that they use to send and receive mail. Um, and so I figured, well, I just need to add whitelist those somehow. The first thing I tried to do was go into the firewall, and you're only allowed 22 rules, and that might have been good enough, but I wasn't really sure how to um, only allow those IP addresses to the IP address of my Exchange server. So what I found I think was better, if you go into the send connector, go to the network tab, and by default this will accept all IPv4 and v6 IP addresses. And so I took that out of there. And when I did, of course, I couldn't send email or receive it, I'm sorry. So, but that was cool. That's what I wanted. And I tested it. I tried telnetting on 587 from my work computer, and it would just try to connect and say connection lost. If I added back the entry that allowed all IP addresses, then I could telnet. So I knew that that was having an effect on whether someone could connect to the Exchange server on port 587. So anyway, I removed the all-inclusive 0 to 255 range, and one by one added all of the IP addresses that Duo Circle lists on their website. And sure enough, when I did this, I was able to receive mail just fine and send it and everything, although this really doesn't have anything to do with the send connector. Uh, Other thing I noticed when I discovered this, first thing that tipped me off was I was not able to send mail, and that's happened before, so I kind of knew what was going on. I went and checked uh, my Q viewer here, and it showed my SMTP Xfinity send connector just full of thousands and thousands of messages waiting to be sent, and they were spam. So anyway, that's how I saw that. I also was able to do a netstat to look for anything that was accessing port 587, and I noticed two very unusual IP addresses in there, and I traced those down, and it turns out they came from Mexico. So it was Mexicans trying to use my server as an open relay. So anyway, my first thing was I went in and blocked like those entire ranges, and that kept them from connecting, but that wasn't the best solution. So I added those IP addresses to the receive connector, and so you can just test here. The only thing you should see being connected is my server, or if you're ever receiving mail, Duo Circle or maybe even Comcast, you will see their IP address or host name in there connected with an open session. So that's what I did to fix that. We'll just go ahead and have a look at Xfinity. I'm using that. It sends through Comcast, so it will appear as it comes from kendrick.9dns.info, which is cool. There's the settings, address space for all addresses will be routed to network. Go to Comcast, and I got user ID, password, just basic authentication, and source servers. Nothing you have to do there. Got Gmail here as well, but it's disabled. That's a workaround in case I have trouble with Xfinity. I can route through Gmail. And I've got Gmail set to, with a reply address set to be my kendrick.dns info email address. So if I email someone through this connector, yeah, it'll go through Google and it'll come from my Google address, but when someone clicks reply, it will reply to my kendrick.dns info. And one thing was when I had all this spam, it was dragging down the server because it was just trying to process that mail, so I could barely do anything. So I found out how to clear the queue. Essentially, what you want to do is stop the Microsoft Exchange Transport Service with these commands here. Stop service MS Exchange Transport, and you start it the same way. But anyway, you have to stop that, and then you open up the mail queue folder, which is here. And you just go in there and delete everything. You'll notice this file here, the mail queue, will just be incredibly huge. So, but you delete everything, and then you start the Exchange Transport Service again. And I've written a PowerShell script to automatically do it, which is this guy here. So if we open that up, here's what we do. We're just stopping the transport service, and then we go ahead and clear out that folder and start the service again. So if I open that queue, we should be able to see what's going on. Right click, run with PowerShell. And there we go. Queue cleared. And service starting. And we get the default files back again. So anyway, that's it.